Good afternoon and welcome to Market View. My name is Lungilele Makakula. It's a Monday, the 12th of February. Today on the program, we have the Ministry of Labour and Social Security warning businesses and companies who fail to pay their employees on time, as well as not complying with the law in remitting statutory deductions. We'll also be joined by RSTP CEO Vumile Dlamini saying there is a need for Eswatini to have the point of presence if it is to be technology independent. Thereafter, we'll have the Eswatini Revenue Services Communications Director Vusi Dlamini talk to us about easing congestion at the border and also reducing tax burden for SMEs. And later, we'll be joined via Zoom by economist Mr. Sanele Sibia to provide us with the latest stock market. For now, let's go straight to business news. Welcome back. This is the news. There is a need for Eswatini to have the point of presence if it is to be technology independent, but this can be achieved with government's full support. The Chief Executive Officer of the Royal Science and Technology Park, Vumile Dlamini, said this in reaction to His Majesty's speech on the need of a strong national system of innovation as the country embarks on a mission to shift from a resource-based economy to knowledge-based economy.
As the Royal Science and Technology Park, I think we're one of the pillars of economic growth in terms of IT, because we have the IT park, we have the biotech park, where some of these initiatives are supposed to be the catalyst in driving the economic development of this kingdom. Now, in the biotech park, we have, right now it's under construction, we're supposed to complete it this year. Early this year, we have the laboratory, which is national laboratories, that most of these innovators on the biotech side will be utilizing this laboratory to test their hypothesis, of which then that will then be accommodated in our entrepreneurship division, the incubation part of it, where now all those products that have been highlighted during the research and they come up to be successful, then it can be turned into big businesses. On the IT park as well, we have the School of IT at Songomongo House, where we're developing human capacity in like, for instance, we have the programs like software engineers, network and infrastructure. We have the cyber security and the forensic aspect of it. We have the multimedia portion of it. So all these programs are designed to create capacity, specialists in all these fields that I just mentioned. So most of those guys that have actually graduated from that program, now they are being absorbed by the entrepreneurship division of what were actually established in Eswatini House. So now some of them have graduated, they are big businesses, they're making their own business. Some are cybersecurity specialists right now, some are network and infrastructure specialists. So again, it shows the impact that this facility actually has actually brought to the kingdom. It's important that we have, as a country, a national switch. Again, that gives us an independent. In national switch shows all the banks, that's where they do the clearing, and it has to be local. Currently, the system that they have is not owned by Maswat. It's owned by South Africa. That means the beneficiaries of all this switching, the money that they are making through this system goes to South Africa.
The Ministry of Labour and Social Security has warned businesses and companies who fail to pay their employees on time, as well as not complying with the law in remitting statutory deductions, saying this is punishable by law. The Deputy Labour Commissioner, Kingdom Mamba, stated that they are aware that there is now a rise in companies, especially those in security, that are not complying with the law.
Yes, there is a rise in terms of employers who are, particularly in the security sector, who are failing to pay their workers, on time. Well, first and foremost, it is a criminal offense not to pay your workers. Section 47 of the Employment Act actually stipulate that an employer is supposed to pay his or her employees within a period of about 30 days. So if you fail then to pay workers during that, within a period of about 30 days, then you are criminally liable as an employer to be prosecuted then when you, possibly if you are found guilty of having failed to pay these employees on time, you can be prosecuted and sentenced into 1 year imprisonment or 3,000 malangeni fine, or both. That is in terms of Section 44 Fire Employment Act. Well, but we do not simply just take employers, to court. There are processes. One, we have to conduct inspections, routine labor inspection, and then thereafter we do follow-up inspections. Then if maybe after, a second follow-up, still the employer is not willing to comply with the law, then definitely we have then to take that particular employer to court for prosecution. And we're supposed to take them to magistrate court. So each region, there is a magistrate court. So perhaps then the law is clear, we're supposed then to take them to nearest magistrate court in that particular region. However, like I've already mentioned, that first of all, our mission is not to, to move employers out of work. We try, because our role is just to create a harmonious industrial relations. So now we come to check, hear both sides, and then if we see that, okay, indeed this employer is violating the law, then ultimately, as a last resort, then we can perhaps prosecute that employer.
It's 8 minutes after 2, and that's it for our business news. Let's take a break. We will resume with our journalist, Nelsiwe Ndlamadla.
Renewal of TV licenses for 2024 is now open. Here is a quick reminder. A viewer's TV license costs 180 emalangeni per device. Other accessories such as decoders and set-top box cost 50 emalangeni per device. For traders and repairers, TV license costs 300 emalangeni per business area. And now, to pay your TV license, use these following methods. You can use MTN Mobile Money with the number 762222000 or dial *007 *3 *7 hash. Or you can use Eswatini Imali. You can pay our TV license at any post office in the country. Another option is you can use any Nedbank branch using our TV license account number 119900430037. Don't forget, when paying for your viewer's TV license, reference with your PIN at all times. And when paying for a retailer TV license, reference with your TIN at all times. For more information, call us on 7802-4543 or 34050163 or 34020879. And you can send us a WhatsApp message on 762222000.
Welcome back. You're still watching Market View. My name is Lungilele Makakula. I'm joined by our in-house journalist, Nelsiwe Ndlamadla. At this moment, we shall take a look at a clip where she interviewed Vusi Dlamini, Communications Director at ERS, talking about, tax burden, decreasing the tax burden on SMEs and also the congestion at the borders.
The border, we want to emphasize that as the ERS, we working with other stakeholders. Obviously, there's some work that we are already trying to do on the ground, and this has come at the right time. The message by His Majesty has come at the right time. We are working through what we call the Eswatini National Trade Facilitation Committee, which comprises of various stakeholders, particularly business community. It also includes those entities that work at the border, which will include the police, because we know that when we're talking about the border, we're not just talking about the ERS or the movement of goods in and out is actually impacted by various stakeholders. So we have a very clear agenda through the ENTFC on how we want to deal with those issues. But also the other thing that we want to emphasize is that recently we did a study, results of which are going to be out, which is the time release study. This also helps us to know how much time it takes for goods to be cleared at the border. And once those results are out, we are actually going to then find strategies on how we would want to deal with those issues, particularly at the border. I think the other thing that I need to emphasize is that the work that we do at the border is not also a function of us as Eswatini only. There's also our partners, our counterparts on the South African side. We are also having some engagements with them to ensure that the work that we do at the border, particularly the movement of goods in and out of the country, is more smooth.
Right, so that was the Communications Director at ERS, Vusi Dlamini, saying that the ERS will heed to His Majesty's call. His Majesty did say that ERS should, ease congestion at border gates for SMEs, quoting that they are the cornerstone of our economy and pivotal in driving job creation. Nelly, if you could just elaborate more on what Vusi has just said, on the importance of easing congestion at the border gates for SMEs. How important is it for that to happen?
I think government in the past, Lulu, has said SMEs, they play a very big role in uplifting the country's economy. We've seen in the economic recovery plan in 2020, where government stated that 59,000 SMEs exist in Eswatini, and most of them are young people. So kumcoka ukuthi ERS ayizele congestion because vele nawungakubuka nje around December kungena timpahla letinengi, even for the big businesses ukhanze ukuthi sekuba ne-line lelitse. But ERS has tried different measures to ensure ukuthi businesses don't spend a lot of time border. Asengibekise nje kune-pre-clearance kwekuthi before you even leave lapho usuka khona naleti impahla takho, you can go online utendele leyo clearance wena ungafike border wafike wahlala. Kunalamanye ama-technology linked processes lafana nabo ku-generator i-invoice yakho online automatically, naloko ungakwenda. So ERS has really tried ukuthi afake some of the processes leti technological to ensure that akubi nale ease of akubi nale congestion le maboda. Sekungaba ukuthi engabe basisensitize kahle in lesive the business community. We ask them, and currently nje what I know is that they are meeting the World Bank to find ways ukuthi engabe bangakwenda njani lokuthi lesive sathi kabandi and use these services lakavele akhona.
Yeah, and I suppose, Nelly, you've been talking to some of the SMEs, and I think baveta the challenges lokhuluma nganje le congestion. So nawusaxoxisana nabo bathi kuba buyisele emuva kanganani, in terms of making profits, in terms of delivering service delivery kuma clients up.
Labakushoko Lulu ngibekise nje sikhulumisane na Facebook ubukeka kakhulu i-Federation of Eswatini Business Community. Bona babukeka kakhulu lama business lamancane, so they are saying by being delayed at the border ukhanza ukuthi leti impahla lakathi uyatigijimisa to lama business lawadzingako, ukhanza ukuthi setifika late, and in turn they are making losses ngaloko.
Okay, all right. So let's move on to the next clip. He also continues to talk about SMEs in the country.
Thank you very much. Again, I think that's another very, very critical issue that we have to work on as the ERS, obviously working with the Ministry of Finance. The reality is that on the ground we know that already there is a legislation that has been passed which speaks to what we're referring to as the small taxpayer regime, or which we will call presumptive tax in this regard. This way of taxing small business people is actually a little bit better compared to the current regime, but it is going to apply specifically to those small and medium enterprises. We know that the legislation that was passed speaks of some 1.75%. And we know also that the burden in terms of compliance for small businesses would normally be the keeping of records, and that becomes a little bit complicated for some businesses. So this way of doing things, or the presumptive tax, will allow those businesses to do the work that they do and pay their taxes without necessarily going through the burden of keeping records. But obviously we know that it's important to keep records for business to know if the business is profitable or not. But for tax purposes, this new regime is going to allow that those businesses are able to do their things much easier. I think the other issue that we is on the cards, and I think the Minister of Finance will be working with the ERS on that one to ensure that it is also implemented. We know that currently on the VAT standard rating, we are currently sitting on 15%, but also over and above that, there's the threshold of 500,000. Obviously, you would appreciate that what that then means is that a small business that is making 500,000 and above is actually obligated to register. Now, with the new proposals, we are hoping that that threshold is going to be increased so that the small business doesn't necessarily need to register for VAT, because also that comes with the insurance that you must actually keep records and ensure that everything is happening accordingly. So we are hoping that that is another way that will help. The great news is that His Majesty has already assented to this legislation. So the legislation is already in place. We are believing that we have had the instruction that this has to start on the 1st of July, which is the beginning of the tax year. So we do expect that it will start then. For the VAT threshold, we do believe that the ministry is going to come out and pronounce it, but we hope that it's actually going to happen earlier than the presumptive tax.
All right, Sineli, this is talking about tax burden, which is something that His Majesty also urged the IRS to make sure that, you know, it is decreased, it is reduced. Ingabe mhlambe lokhu uthide Vusi nje nakhuluma ngokuthi how are they planning on doing it bang IRS?
I think Vusi has mentioned ukuthi lenguvile ukuthi sebenta hlelo lolusha nyalo luhlelo lolutawuqinisekisa ukuthi labo somabhizinisi kakhulu labancane angeke nyalo usadinga ukuthi mhlawumbe ube nalabo bookkeeping ube wati konke sebatawenda indlela labatabe sebayabacecesha ngayo ukuthi okay nangabe usubmita i-tax, this is the way you should do it. They are conducting trainings esikhathi lesiningi kuqinisekisa ukuthi labo somabhizinisi labancane bayati kahle vele ngalendlela yekuthi basubmite i-tax. We know ukuthi bosomabhizinisi labancane vele esikhathi lesiningi abayimikisi i-tax because they do not understand the processes, they do not understand what they have to do. Lapha ka ERS kufanele ukuthi bafake njani leti imali tabo kuze ukuthi tifike lapha. So laba kwendako ka ERS ukuthi ba conduct lama trainings batawuba nalendlela lensha njengoba shito ukuthi masinyane nje itawufika.
Yeah, and kuyahambisana lokuthi vele konke ku operate smooth, ku operate kwabo kuhambe kahle nele from at the beginning nje ku registerni company ma companies abo nalokuthi it has been introduced online registration for companies. And also His Majesty did talk about that lokuthi vele aku implement le digitization konke kuhambe nje ngendlela yebuchwepheshe. Engabe vele mhlambe lokho, how long does it take for an SME noma a company to register for a company?
The Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade has said registering a company now takes about 24 hours. Lokusho ukuthi sesithuthukile kakhulu because you register online, uyamsebenzisa na mobile money lapho khona ukhona nyalo okubhadala khona, akusafani nakadzeni lapho khona bowubhadala uhlale mhlambe a day or two solo inkampani yakhe ingaregister. Kona kusafanele kulesinye isikhathi uhambe uye Ministry of Finance uyolanza maybe naso ubhadele uyolanza some of the documents letidingekako uye Ministry of Commerce. But we are seeing a change. The ministries are really trying to make ease of doing business even better in the country.
Yeah, all right. Thanks so much, Nelly, for joining us. Mugeli, so that was Nelly. Sikhuluma ngayo nje i-tax burden ukuthi ngabe IRS ibuke ukuthi itayireduce kanjani for SMEs. Let's take a break. Sabuya khona manje.
Renewal of TV licenses for 2024 is now open. Here is a quick reminder. A viewer's TV license costs 180 emalangeni per device. Other accessories such as decoders and set-top box cost 50 emalangeni per device. For traders and repairers, TV license costs 300 emalangeni per business area. And now, to pay your TV license, use these following methods. You can use MTN Mobile Money with the number 76222000 or dial *007 *3 *7 hash. Or you can use Eswatini imali. Account number 1199004337. Don't forget, when paying for your viewer's TV license, reference with your PIN at all times. And when paying for a retailer TV license, reference with your TIN at all times. For more information, call us on 7802-4543 or 34050163 or 34020879. And you can send us a WhatsApp message on 762222000.
Welcome back. So you're still watching a Market View. Let's cut this ukuthi ngabe imakethe performe kanjani elangeni lamuhla. Lanamuhla siqale sibuke ima-currencies kuba ukuthi li-dollar semelika, li-euro kanye ne-Japanese yen performe kanjani lamuhla. I'm joined by our in-house economist, Mr. Sanele Sibiya. Very good afternoon, Mr. Sibiya. Thank you for joining us once again. Kumbe nje ukuthi hlatiyela nje nathi tinombolo siyabona kwangathi the US dollar against the lilangeni lingetulo kwa 18 amalangeni. Sichazela kabani nje ukuthi ngabe lokho kusho ukuthini?
Yes, no, lidollar liqinile namuhla nalicathaniswa nelangeni lokusho ukuthi ilangeni lethu liluzile ivalue. Lokho ke sikuthatha sikumatanise ne-trading activity in the US and the improvements in individual stocks basically, and you know the stock market is performing better in the US. So akusiko lokunganani, it's just an improvement in the US economy and an improvement in the stock markets in the US.
Alright, nasiqhubeka mhlambe sibuka li-euro kanye ne-Japanese yen kubuka nje ukuthi ngabe dona time kanjani lomuhla.
Okay, lesikubonile ngeyen ngathi ibe nekuluza kancane ivalue compared to langeni lethu ngalokuthi eJapan ngalena ke kusesele holiday namhla, so imarket takhona akavuli. There is not much trade that is happening, but again against the euro we have seen sibone langeni kwangathi nakhona liluzile emandla maliqathaniswa nalo li-euro. Ngalokuthi yes, i-trading data lechamuka khona e-Europe isho ukuthi the economy that side iyaperforma kahle kakhulu, lokusho ukuthi ke bese bantu ingcindezi bafuna kuyawufaka imali zabo ngakhona batshalele ngakhona bese kwenda lelangeni lethu bangathi seluza ivalue.
Alright, kumina sichubeka nje sichubekela imbili sibuka ama-commodities. Mr. Sibiya, kuba ukuthi ligolide ngabe lona lime kanjani kanye na oyime kanjani lomuhla?
Okay, masibuka oil lo ngakahlulwa i-Brent crude, we have seen ngokuthi iyangekwenyuka kancane, so lokho singa-attribute to what is happening etinhlanganweni emaveni lale ekhathi e-Middle East, ngoba nawubuka le conflict yaseGaza ne-Israel iyangeke-escalate and seyifuna kungenwa mave incumbi, and asiyayibona i-Israel solo iyala ku-ceasefire lengadlende lesimo sibe ngcono. Leyo mpilo leyo seyize yaspilla into the Red Sea, lokusho ukuthi ke sekune routes akusakhona into okuhamba kahle, so imarket seyinako lokwesaba kwangazuthi kutawuba netinkinga if le conflict escalates, because nyalo nasi bathi siyabuka tinkhomba atisho ukuthi le conflict itawudifuse anytime soon. So nasibuka ligolide liyachubeka nema-losses, noma ngabe liyachubeka liyakhula lona, but siyalibona ukuthi namhla lehlile na ulibuka nga-negative 2.1%. Loko sikubangelwa nakugcina kwetimakethe nama-stock markets njengoba hlole sisho ukuthi bantu sebayasuka ngalana kuma-commodities babuya ngalana ku-stock market, ngalokuthi nyalo sesicala ku-speculate ukuthi ngabe stock market sitawuhamba kanjani, and everyone is predicting a bullish return ye-stock market nase sicethe ema-interest rate, nase kacale kwehle ama-interest rate, yes.
Alright, so kuyavakala mhlambe nasingachubekela nje embili sibuke ukuthi ingabe Eswatini Stock Exchange kanye ne-Joburg Exchange tona tinombolo time kanjani, ti-performa kanjani lo muhla wanamande?
No, timakethe tethu nato tivule tikahle tizama kuba ngconywana masibuka eJohannesburg, but lesibona kona khona ngiloko ukuthi le market ngalokuthi kude le economic data lenganani lephumile. So lama-losses leswabona kola etimaketheni ngiloko ukuthi bantu basazama kubuka ama-stocks langathatha awuperforma, and nyalo singene kuma-election years, so imithelela lena nje imithelela yesona kokuthi bantu incumbi bebasho ukuthi hawu isona yakhe President Ramaphosa ayikabi ngilele thembisa lokuningi kube into lebekavele ahlezi ayikhuluma onke lamalanga. So timakethe naloko tiyakubuka adikuthathe ngendlela lekahle. So bese sibuya kulesala ekhaya Eswatini Stock Exchange, naso siyayibona iyanyukanyuka noma ngabe ihledi i-stagnant. Lokho ukuthi lokwenyuka kwakhona akusiko lokho ukuthi kwenyukile just marginal changes. Lokho singaka-attributa to the recent listings ngonyeni casting, so lawo improvile le trading activity ye-stock market sakangwane, and sibuya ngisho speech from the throne, naso beku-speech nje lekungathi eMaswati netimakethe asijabulele kakhulu ngoba beku-speech lesikhuluma nje ngokuthi i-economy ifuna ishonephi. Lo mnyaka bengazasho ukuthi kawule kude lenye ama-sectors la kangwane ingwenyama seyiphekuna umnotho kuphela nje. So timakethe tayeti kubuke lokho ukuthi okay, lokusho ukuthi if lo muthi asasetha direction ukuthi sivuse umnotho kufunake kube kuningi bantu sekuyacala ke timakethe diyaphakaphakama nakwende kanjalo.
Alright, Mr. CB, let's quickly look at le tinye timakethe US Stock Exchange, EU kanye ne-Asia. Sibuka ukuthi lo mhla di-trade kanjani?
Masingabuka ke lapho kuleto timakethe nasibuka eAmerica timakethe encumbi sengavuli ngoba sekuseni ngakhona lena, but nasibuka davala Friday disetudlwana kunale compared to other days. Lokho kubangwa ngilokuthi akusiko ukuthi ngoba nabuka le macroeconomic calendar yakhona lena e-US kude lokunganani lokwendeka kodwa nje sibona those small companies that are gaining the most. So a lot of companies are gaining, ngiwo la sayiphula up most of the indices. It is only the S&P nje lebonakale ibuya phansi. Nakhona nasinyukela eLondon sibonile ukuthi timakethe taseLondon nato tivale tisesejabulile kwanyalo tisashowa ema-signs ekunyuka. Nasibuka i-trading ye-FTSE 100 nayo ingilele tshengisako ukuthi iyajabula again. Nakhona kude lokungana lokwendeka ku-economic calendar, just performance yetinkampani ngaleto leti sesiza imarket sizamane ku-speculate ukuthi nangithenga le stock lesi namuhle ngabe ndawo yakuphi. Masibuyele eJapan siyayibona iJapan ukuthi namhla etimakethe lakhona soloti ivalile, but kodwa ngalesihlanu siyabona asitavalila tiphansana. Sibuye nayo iHang Seng nayo siyayibona eHong Kong ukuthi nakhona timakethe tethu tavala tingasito letijabulile. Nale trading ukuthi kwanyalo isesemile and the market was preparing for a holiday, so the activity ayibanga ngilekako.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Sibuya, that market analysis. And we've come to the end of our show today. Thank you for joining us. Do join us again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Have a good day.